A very warm good afternoon to all the dear students and welcome back to the class of Business Startups and Innovation. So in the last class, we had finished up with Unit 1, Part 1, that is location of an enterprise. And in that particular part, we had seen that how important any location is whenever you want to set up an enterprise. Definitely, the importance of location cannot be overlooked. Many times, there are many people who just for the selfishness or greed of a few lakh rupees, they sacrifice a good location and go for a location which is not that good. Again, in those situations, they are not able to earn as much as profit as they would have earned if they had taken a better location. So that was about understanding the importance of taking the or picking the right location. Many times you will see that if there is a shop which is located at an appropriate location and it is able to earn huge profits because it is nearby to residential and office areas, it is having good accessibility to the kids, and it is at a level where even the elderly people and even the children can easily climb and go. Sometimes in the same apartment or in the same complex, there will be a shop which is tucked inside and which is, maybe on the fourth or the fifth floor, and sometimes the lift is not working. So in those situations, it becomes very, very difficult for that particular shop to earn profits and to, make good profits from that particular location. So again, location definitely plays a very, very important role. Now we are going to start. This is the unit 1 itself, that is, it is a chapter 1 itself, but it is a part 2 of unit 1, that is starting a small enterprise. I think I have not shared the PPT of this particular chapter with all of you, but I'll be doing it soon. I'll post it on Google Classroom from where you all can download it. Okay, so now we are going to start with the chapter of starting a small enterprise, the introduction of which I had given you in the last class. Okay, so can anyone tell me what do you mean by a small enterprise? Usually we have small enterprise, micro enterprise, and medium enterprise. Okay, so we have three categories of enterprises which are very much prevalent. So now I'm asking you that, what do you mean by a micro enterprise? How do you define, if suppose there are two or three enterprises, how do I define that which one is micro, which one is, small enterprise, which one is medium enterprise? So there is a different criteria which is given by the ministry. Okay, so the government of India has enacted the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006. Okay, in which they have defined as to how these three enterprises will be considered. So first of all, we will see micro. Micro means it is smaller than the small enterprise also. Okay, so a micro enterprise is an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs. Okay, so whatever investment you have made, again, please note that this investment should only be in plant and machinery. Again, investment in land or investment in human resources will not be considered for this particular purpose. Okay, so in case the investment in case of plant and machinery does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs, it will be a micro enterprise. Then coming to the point of small enterprise. Okay, so small enterprise will be an enterprise where the investment in plant and machinery is more than 25 lakh rupees, but it does not exceed 5 crore rupees. And towards the end, we have the medium enterprise. It is an enterprise where the investment in plant and machinery is more than rupees 5 crores, but it does not exceed rupees 10 crores. Okay, so again, all these values have to be considered, and in all cases, only and only investment in plant and machinery at the original cost is to be considered. It will not include cost of building, it will not include cost of land, okay, as per the regulations of the ministry. So this is how you define a small enterprise, an enterprise where investment in plant and machinery is more than 25 lakh rupees but does not exceed 5 crore rupees. Okay, now how do you know, or what do you think about the success rate of small scale industries? If you will see, when India became independent in 1947. Okay, now after that, till at that point of time, India was mostly an agrarian country. Agrarian country means 60 to 70% of the GDP of India was coming from the agriculture sector. and mostly if you will see, there were farmers in our entire country. Now what happened in such a case, India was more and more dependent upon the foreign countries for the industrial products, and they had to import more and more, which is not always visible. If you have to import more and more, you are dependent on the other countries. Plus, you will have to pay them money in foreign exchange, which involves a lot of cost. So, what happened at that particular time, point of time, that the government of India, they started focusing and they started producing industrial products. But at that time, again, the government had more focus on the large scale industries producing large scale products. And the focus was not that much on the small scale industries. Okay, now in that case, what happened, that there was definitely the setup of large scale industries, but at the same time, the small scale industries and the cottage industries, they were the ones which were lagging behind. Then slowly and steadily, after many large-scale industries were set up, the government realized the importance of setting up small-scale industry, because small-scale industries are not just providing us with materials and not just providing us with services, but at the same time, they are giving employment to a huge population of our country. So definitely one of the very strong pillars of every economy is the setup of a small-scale industry. Okay. Now, the success of a small scale industry mainly depends upon doing the right thing at the right time. Now, if you will see, the investment is very, very less in case of a small scale industry. But at the same time, it is very, very crucial for the entrepreneur, because he might have taken up huge loans. He might have, taken up the financing from somewhere to start up that small scale industry. So in case he is not able to run it successfully, it is possible that it can be a huge failure. So it is very, very important that you decide or you know how to do the right thing at the right time. Okay. So in other words, a small scale industrialist has to be conversant, means he has to know, he has to be aware about the various regulations governing the small scale industry and the procedures to be followed. Okay, so it is very important that you know whatever rules have been specified by the government. Like I said, that ignorance of law is not an excuse to not follow the law. Ab agar suppose, if you are going on a motorbike and you are not wearing a helmet, and if the police catches you, you cannot say, I didn't know that I have to wear a helmet while driving a motorbike. That is not an excuse that you can give. Similarly, when you are running a small scale industry, you're not very, very aware about all the rules and regulations governing the small scale industry. But in that case, you can land into huge trouble. So it is very, very important that you are aware about all the rules and regulations which are there or which are applicable for a small scale industry. Again, I would like to point out that, in such cases, many times the government is extremely supportive, because the government wants that more and more small scale industries are set up. But at the same time, the required rules and regulations have to be followed. Yeah. So now in the Indian economy, cottage and small scale industries have a significant role to play. Like I said that, when India became independent, the focus was more on the large scale industries. But then slowly and steadily, they realized that the Indian economy cannot progress or cannot achieve greater heights without the help of small scale industries and cottage industries. Now, I would like to ask all of you that do you understand the meaning of cottage industries? Anyone? What do you mean by cottage? So cottage industry is similar to a small scale industry, but it is operating at a much lower level than the small scale industry. In this particular case, it is assumed that people are doing business from their homes itself. For example, if you will see in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Kashmir, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of local people who are doing the job of weaving and who are, preparing carpets at their home. And all those carpets are such carpets which are sold maybe in lakhs or crores of rupees to and they are exported also to outside countries. Okay, so the concept of cottage industry is very, very similar to a small scale industry, but the major difference is that cottage industries are run from their homes only. For example, if you will see in Gujarat and especially in Kutch, anyone who can say, what is Kutch famous for? So Kutch is primarily famous for all the khadi products that they make, or the khaki cloth that they are preparing. Okay, so that is something which for which they are very, very famous, and most of that work is done from the homes of the people. Similarly, many times there is the job of pottery where they are preparing pots and pans made from earthen wood. So all those are also considered to be cottage industries. Okay. Now, what is the importance of cottage industry? Again, all these people are not so qualified or so experienced that they will get a job easily in a large scale industry. It is not possible that the entire population of India, 1.2 billion people, will get employment in the few large scale industries that are operating. Now, if people are not getting employment, they will die of hunger, they will die of poverty, they will die of lack of shelter. So in such cases, it is very, very important that the Indian economy and the Indian government promotes self-employment. And how can we promote self-employment? We can promote self-employment if we are focusing more and more on the cottage and the small scale industries. So in case of cottage industries, again, it will be possible that people can do their business or people can run their business from their homes. And when they are doing it from their homes, they are not only creating money or generating money for themselves, but they are also creating employment for other people. It is possible that if you are running a small scale industry on a good scale, you might be employing maybe 100 people or 50 people or 20 people. So you are providing money, you are providing daily wages to so many other people and helping them run their homes. Okay. So now, when more and more industrialization was increasing, the government also decided that they will have to focus more and more on the cottage and small scale industries also. Because in case the government is not doing so, it will not be possible for it to survive. Now, next we will be seeing selection of a small scale enterprise. That how do we select whether, you know, which small scale enterprise should we go for? Because whenever if you want to set up a small scale enterprise, there are innumerable options, there are innumerable alternatives which you can follow. Okay, so the first step is decision to be self-employed. Means first of all, at least you have to decide, or at least you have to finalize that you want to do something on your own and you do not want to work under someone else. Okay, many a times it so happens that, you know, people who are graduating from even IIMs or XLRI or the huge colleges, they also decide that they want to be self-employed. That is, they do not want to work under someone else. Okay, so this is very, very important that first of all, you take the decision on your own, whether what do you want to do with your life. So once you have completed your education or once you have decided to do something on your own, you need to take the decision. And there are maybe 2 or 3 paths that are available. So the options can be that either you want to go for a job or work under someone else, or you want to be an entrepreneur. That is, you want to be self-employed, means you want to do something or start something of your own. Now, next will be identification of opportunities. We need to identify as to what are the different opportunities of which we can take advantage of. Okay. So first one is idea generation. Now, this is very, very, very important. It is not enough that you just decide that, yes, I want to do something on my own. Such a decision is fine, but at the same time, you should be knowing or you should be having an idea as to what do you want to do on your own. So first of all, it is very, very important that you create the idea or you generate the idea. So our first step in case of identification of opportunities is idea generation. That you need to generate the idea, or you need to think about it, that what will you do, and you know, how will you start your small scale enterprise. So first step is idea generation. Again, idea generation should be something which is related to your field. If suppose you have done engineering, okay, then you can start your own enterprise which will be something related to knowledge of technology or something related to knowledge of machines. If suppose you have done your CA or MBA in finance, then in that particular case, you can start something in the field of investment, in the field of consultancy. So first of all, you need to generate the idea as to what do you want to start. And these are some of the very limited fields that I'm telling you about. There are many other alternatives for which now people are going. For example, if you know, we have the school Fountainhead in Surat. So by whom is that school started? It has been started by 2 IIM graduates who graduated from IIMA, and then they decided that they want to go and they want to explore the education sector. And now imagine how successful they are. Imagine if they had taken a job. Okay, so they are literally more successful than they would have been if they had taken up a job. So it is very, very important that you generate the idea and you identify as to how do you want to conduct your business, or in which field you want to conduct your business. Now next we have concept testing. Okay, so can anyone tell me what do you mean by concept testing? Okay, so concept testing is that, once you have come up with any concept or once you have come up with any idea, you need to evaluate whether is it feasible or not, or whether, it will be accepted amongst the consumers or not. So concept testing is the process of using surveys to evaluate basically the consumer acceptance of a new product prior to the introduction of a product to the market. So before you introduce a product to the market, you need to see whether it will be acceptable to the people or not. Okay. Now it is important that you do not confuse concept testing with advertising testing, brand testing. No, advertising testing, brand testing, all those things are done once the product has been launched. But concept testing means that you need to ensure, or you need to see whether such a kind of product will be accepted by the society or not, or will be accepted by the people or not. Now an important question that arises is that how do you do concept testing, or how do you follow the method of concept testing? So what happens in case of concept testing? How will you do it? Now in such a case, it is very important that you go to different people's homes, or you go and contact different people and ask them that whether do you need such kind of things, or whether if such a thing is sold in the market, will you purchase it? If you will purchase it, at what price would you like to purchase it? So all that is related to the concept of concept testing, that you need to test the concept, or you need to evaluate as to whether it will be accepted amongst the people or not. Okay, for example, nowadays if you will see, there are many there are a few shops which are coming up with the idea of chopped vegetables, selling chopped vegetables. Earlier there were only vegetables which were being sold, and you had to bring it to your house. You should clean those vegetables, you should chop those vegetables, so it takes a considerably huge amount of time. Okay, but now there are some enterprises, for example, it is even available on Amazon, and it is even available, there is a new shop getting opened, okay, Om Satya Basket, in which they are going to provide you with exotic vegetables as well as with chopped vegetables. Okay, so in that particular case, what happens that you need to test whether it will be acceptable amongst the people or not. So you can go to the consumers, or you can conduct a survey and ask, Ki bhai, are you a working woman? Okay, if you are a working woman, how do you manage chopping of the vegetables? If your working timings are suppose 10 to 8 or 10 to 9, so how are you working, or how are you managing your housework along with your office work? And how are you taking out time for the chopping of vegetables? So would you prefer buying the chopped vegetables? If suppose the monthly cost comes to around rupees 5,000, will you be okay with it? So all those things are very, very important to be understood and to be asked to the people. And once you get a considerably good response, good review, then only you should go ahead with that particular product. So it is very, very important that you study the market, you analyze the market, and you understand whether people are ready for such a product or not. Now, the last step is screening the product or the service idea. Okay, so it is very, very important that once you have come up with any product, or once you have come up with any service, you need to screen it properly. Okay, now how will you screen it? You need to evaluate, you need to see, if I have launched this particular product, if I have launched this particular service, is it going in the right direction? Or will it be going in the right direction? Is there anything more that I need to do? Is there anything less that I need to do? Is there anything which I should add to that particular product or deduct from that particular product? Okay, for example, when the Tatas had launched the Nano, many a times the launch date was changing. Many a times they were deliberating, and they were discussing whether, you know, there is something new that they should add up, whether there is something more advanced that they should add up. And usually what happens that if there is any company which is not doing the screening part properly, in that case in future there can be a huge problem. Okay, so for example, what happened when the Tatas had launched the Nano, that after launching that particular car, there were many problems which were faced in that particular car. For example, you all must be knowing about it, that, you know, it was very lightweight, so it could get affected if a huge vehicle passed by it, or there was problem of petrol leakage also. So again, it is very, very important. And in that case, the Tatas had to call back all the cars that they had sold, make changes, or maybe, you know, refund the money, or give them a better car. So all such were the options which were done by the Tatas. So in case if you are not following the step of screening of the product or service idea properly, in that case it can create a huge problem for you in the future. So it is very, very important that you are screening all the ideas properly. Okay, and towards the end, the last step that we are having is selection of the line of business. Means once you have screened all the ideas, once you have, suppose in case of idea generation, you come up with 5 different ideas. Okay, so you will test those 5 different ideas with the people, and you will screen all those 5 different ideas. So once you are done with the screening of all 5 different ideas, what you will do, you will select the one final line of business. Okay, so after screening, after everything, you will come up with one final line of business. Yes, out of all these 5 ideas, I think I should go with idea number 3, and that will be the idea which I will select. Okay, so it is very, very important that what are the steps that you follow for the selection of a small scale enterprise. Again, the steps should be followed very, very carefully, because once you have shortlisted any idea, you will put a lot of resources, you will put a lot of hard work behind that idea, and in case it is not a good idea, then you can incur huge losses in the future. Now, this is the flow chart that we usually have in case of selection of a small scale enterprise. Okay, so just go through the flow chart once, then we'll discuss it. Okay, first of all, we have selection of the industry. So now once you have selected which industry you want to go for, your next steps will be, arrangement for know-how, that you need to make sure that from where will you be able to obtain the knowledge for setting up that particular industry. Then you need to follow the step of selection of location and acquisition of premises. Like we discussed that, you know, once we have selected any particular industry or idea, we need to select the final location, that at which place we would like to set up that industry. Again, in case of location, it is possible that you might already be having that location, or it is possible that you might have to acquire that location from some other place. Now next is to check the entire economic viability. Okay, so once you have shortlisted any idea, or once you have decided any idea, you need to make sure that it is entirely economically viable, which means that you will be easily able to finish that particular project. So it includes checking the marketing and the pricing strategy. It includes checking the financing, checking the staffing, checking the human resources. Okay, so all these steps are the ones which should be considered, because once you have shortlisted any idea, you need to check whether you will be able to earn profit out of it or not, whether you will be easily able to do the marketing of it or not. How will you keep the pricing of those particular products? What will be the strategy that you will follow? How will you do the staffing, and, you know, what human resources will you employ, what human resources you will not employ? All those are the important things that are required to be seen. Okay, next we have selection of industry. Then you need to select the, once you have selected the industry, again, after that you will need to apply to the DI for NOC. NOC means no objection certificate, you will have to apply for registration and you will have to apply for power allotment. It is very, very important that you know that, it is not so easy to obtain electricity at each and every plant. You need to obtain permission, you need to state the purpose, and then only it will be possible for you to obtain the power allotment. Okay. Again, many times, if suppose you have decided that which industry you want to go for, it is not possible that you will always have the money to start that industry. If suppose you require 20 lakhs or you require 50 lakhs, it is possible that you are having only 10 lakhs with you at that point of time. So you will need to obtain a loan to finance the rest of the part. So in that particular case, the step will be applying to financial institutions for assistance for fixed assets and working capital, inclusive of export finance if warranted. Okay, so you will need to apply for assistance for obtaining the fixed assets, for obtaining the working capital, and in case you are exporting the products, you can also apply for export finance, the finance that government provides in case of export of products. Okay, now over here we have gone through the concept of working capital. So working capital, you all must be knowing, it means current assets minus current liabilities. Okay, so whatever money you require for your working capital, suppose if you have to purchase stock, or you have to purchase inventory, or you have to keep some amount of cash, so all that is the requirement of working capital which you will have to purchase, and for that also you might have to obtain a loan. Okay, and then what will be the step for application of NOC, registration and power allotment? In that particular case, you will have to apply to the local body or panchayat or municipality for the NOC and the permission. Okay, so it is very, very important that you apply. Local body means the municipality or the municipal corporation, or panchayat will be applicable in case if it is a village, for obtaining the NOC and the permission. Now there will be a lot of factors which they will consider before granting you with the NOC and the permission. So they will see, whether you have adhered with all the policies, with all the rules, and what are the different aspects that you have considered. So these are the few steps that are required to be followed in the first phase of selection of industry. Okay, and this is the part that we have done till now. The remaining part, that is the part from recruitment of staff and labor, we will be doing from the next class onwards. Okay, so thank you very much, dear students, for attending the class. Have a good day. And like I said, I will be sharing the PPT, this PPT with all of you. Kindly download it, go through it, and in case of any queries, in case of any doubts, please feel free to post it on Google Classroom and I'll respond to it. Thank you very much and have a good day.